Hello, language learners. I hope that my previous videos were useful for you. In this one, I would like to talk about how you can boost, accelerate, and enhance your learning through real-life communication. Surprisingly, in the age of the internet, Zoom, and social networks, many people still complain that they don't have an environment to practice a foreign language. In this video, I'm going to give you many ideas on how you can solve this problem. All links and references you will be able to find at the end of this presentation. In the beginning, I would like to stress the importance of social interaction in language learning. I've talked about it in my previous videos, so I'll just summarize it briefly. The social interaction increases your attention, supports your motivation, and gives you the feeling of achievement and sense of relationship. It activates the brain mechanisms linking perception and action, helps you transform your explicit knowledge into implicit one, and transfer your knowledge from a classroom setting to a real-life setting. The first idea that comes into my mind on how you can ensure real-life communication is tandem learning. This is the mode of learning when people who are native speakers of different languages need to help each other in learning. For example, you are a native speaker of English and you want to learn French. So you meet someone who is a native speaker of French and wants to learn English. This mode of learning is very flexible. You can meet face-to-face or online. You can have just relaxing conversations with a cup of tea or coffee, or learn new vocabulary and grammar and improve your writing. There are many benefits of tandem learning. I have mentioned some of them when I talked about social interaction. Besides them, the tandem mode of learning reduces foreign anxiety. Foreign language anxiety is a serious term used by researchers. They recognize several types of such anxiety and measure its scale. Even if you don't feel this anxiety, I'm sure you feel discomfort speaking a foreign language because your vocabulary is not enough to express yourself. You are not sure that you understand everything. Communicative norms in your language and culture are completely different. Talking to native speakers on the regular basis helps you to feel more comfortable and confident. Moreover, your negative emotions that hinder your language learning will be replaced by positive ones: satisfaction, pride, joy, interest. Instead of being tensed and stressed, you will be at ease. In contrast to formal language classes with many participants and a rigid schedule, you can focus on your needs and interests. It gives you as a learner bigger autonomy and independence. Authentic communication boosts your comprehension and production skills. Additionally, tandems are an incredibly efficient insight into communicative norms and cultures. Many cultural barriers are invisible. You discover them only when you bump against them or when you suddenly realize that you misinterpreted something you heard or someone's behavior. Tandems gives you the possibility of close and sincere contact, the best possible environment to discover and to be advised about cultural differences. By the way, friendly and competent guidance and feedback are other benefits of tandem learning. According to some learning theorists, for example, Vygotsky, it is crucial for learning in general. To acquire new knowledge and skills successfully, we need more knowledgeable others for guidance and a dialogue to provide us with so-called zone of proximal development, a context and environment in which we learn. Some scholars describe this environment in ecological terms, calling learner's environment a semiotic budget, something that plays the same role as energy budget in an ecosystem. And comparing the role of language plays for us to the role of the jungle for animals. Animals don't have the jungle, they just know how to use jungle and live in it. Similarly, we don't have or possess a language, but we learn how to use it and live in it. That is, of course, not the only possible way of thinking about language, but anyway, we don't acquire foreign languages like computers. Just computers need just an input. But for us, it's not enough to memorize certain knowledge. This knowledge should be internalized. We should transmit it from the social world into our personal world. This is possible through negotiation and co-construction. So, to sum up the benefits from tandem learning, you improve your speaking skills significantly, learn a lot of interesting things, meet wonderful people, and make friends. I'm going to mention some problems, factors you should take into account to make your tandem learning successful later. Now, where can you find your language partner? In fact, there are plenty of sources. First of all, websites, tandem.net, tandempartners.org, mylanguageexchange.com. You can use applications in your smartphone. I will list all these sources below this video. You can find your language partner on social media, such pages, for example, on Facebook. There is a wonderful group, Language Exchange. Language communities on the platforms like Buzu or Duolingo is a wonderful way to do it as well. Or just other communities like expats or travelers communities, or communities that unite people based on their interests and hobbies. A good option might be meetup.com, where people meet to do something together, including language learning, or Skill Harbor, where people help each other in acquiring new skills. Doing something together is an excellent way to learn languages because it gives you a natural real life setting, additional motivation, and it activates your sensory memory and emotions. What if you can't find a native speaker? For example, your native language is not very widespread. Not to mention the fact that there are many more people who learn English than native English speakers who learn foreign languages. So just find someone who learns English as you do. Don't be afraid that you can pick up a strange accent or someone's grammar mistakes. First of all, research on collaborative groups showed that the final effect is more positive than practicing alone anyway. Secondly, if you still listen to the recordings made by native speakers, read the text written by native speakers, and do grammar exercises, it will minimize the possible negative effect. Thirdly, you can agree with your language partner to correct each other's mistakes. It will make you even more conscious of your mistakes than when you learn in a classroom, where all responsibility for correcting mistakes is on your teacher. And my final argument, in real life, you have to talk to people with various accents and levels of proficiency, especially if we talk about such a global language as English. After you find your language partner, the next problem is where to find materials that are suitable for tandem learning. Of course, you can use textbooks, but something more interactive would be better. I strongly recommend www.seagull-tandem.eu. It is a wonderful page. It is well designed with materials for a dozen of languages, mainly European languages. Working sheets are selected depending on the level of proficiency. So I strongly recommend it. Another option is Bochum's University web page. And another useful thing, list of topics and questions for discussions on Relearn a Language web page. If you like gaming when you learn a foreign language, you can introduce this element into your tandem learning. Some ideas you can find on learnandwork.org.uk. So we talked about all benefits of tandem learning. Let's now mention some possible problems. Frankly speaking, I don't see any serious disadvantages in tandem learning, but some things might be problematic. It happens if you have very high expectations. If you think that it would be super interesting and smooth from the very beginning and you would become very good friends. It might not be very easy and super interesting from the beginning. First of all, you both are not proficient enough to communicate easily and fluently. Secondly, you meet someone whose background is completely different, someone whose communicative norms are different, system of meaning and references are different than yours. Thirdly, you simply talk to a stranger. It's naturally that you need some time to know each other. I have some suggestions to prevent possible difficulties. First of all, try to find someone with whom you have a lot in common. My second tip is to avoid specific cultural references at the beginning, especially if your partner doesn't learn your native language. I mean, if you are two people who learn English. Remember that jokes that are funny in your country might not be caught. Films or books that are popular in your country might not be as interesting and amazing for foreigners. Problems that people discuss, think, or worry about might be completely different in your partner's country. I'll make another video about problems in intercultural communication with the detailed description of what issues you should be sensitive to. Now, I just have one suggestion from my experience. I think that the best way to deal with serious cultural differences is to talk about your and your partner's personality, or about universal cultural things like cuisine, celebrations, celebration of traditional holidays, lifestyle, popular touristic places, and things like this. Here I propose the list of topics that may help you to know and understand each other better at your first meeting. Again, you can find it below this video and copy for yourself. Regarding the universal cultural topics, you can pick them up from the page I already mentioned, relearnalanguage.com. Again, you can find it below this video. Other issues you have to take into account when you choose your language partner are proficiency level, goals, interests, and needs, your time zone. And besides that, to be successful and sustainable tandem, you should be able to plan, monitor, and evaluate your collaboration. Another option I recommend you to explore is an English club. I mean, a discussion club where people come to talk in English, but other types of clubs related to your hobbies and interests will work perfectly as well. You can search for such a club in your city, possibly at your university if you are a student. There are groups on platforms like Telegram, WhatsApp, WeChat. I didn't explore Clubhouse for this purpose, but it might be an option as well if you use it. There are volunteers who lead an English conversation club on thelanguageportal.net. There are a variety of options on this website, so you can choose something that suits your time zone and your level of proficiency. Hope this information will help you to ensure a lot of speaking practice. Thank you very much for your attention. If you want to book a lesson in English, Russian, or Polish, please contact me via email olga.nestel@gmail.com.